All right, get that stretch out, Devaldo, because you know what?
Out the
This
system.
is going to be a cracking episode. Listen, look, we are going to be speaking about movies. We're going to be speaking about Amber Turd. No, actually, we're not going to be speaking about Amber
That was
Turd.
last
No,
week.
that was last week.
Yeah.
We're not going to be speaking about that. No, listen, we've got a film review, and we're going to be throwing in a hidden gem. We haven't done a hidden
Yes.
gem for a while, actually. So
Ah,
I'm going to be speaking about this movie that I watched,
good
and
film as well. I've
hopefully,
heard about it. Good film.
yes,
Really good film.
absolutely.
So I want to
We're
hear
going to
about
get
it.
into all of that. So, folks, keep it locked with the Flixters. This is episode 187,
Oh,
and
187. That's
yeah,
murder. You know that? Do you know that's the American code for murder?
yep.
187. I got a 187. Quick,
Seven
get it.
one. No, seriously, it is 187. And
Yeah.
remember, there was that jungle tune, wasn't it? It was like 187 lockdown. It was.
Is it? I bet it's
Do you
slow
remember that
jam.
one?
Your love is a 187. Remember
87.
that shit? Taking
Taking
me to
me to
heaven.
heaven.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
you know. Take your shirt off.
Yeah. Grinding in the club. And then, like, the
Oh
boyfriend
my
comes along. He's like, what you
gosh.
doing?
You know, then it is
Exactly.
187 for real. Flipping
Oh,
heck.
shit. So listen, folks, keep it
Uh,
locked with us. 187. We
yep.
hope you enjoy the show. And remember, like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. And follow us on Instagram. And you can chat with us over there. All right. So, Deval, take
Mm.
the shout outs away for us.
Yeah, so shout outs. Got 3 shout outs this week. First one goes out to our very own Zakharov. I keep saying we're going to get him on the show at some point
We
this
got
year.
to.
It's gonna happen. Trust me. He can't run forever because we'll find him. So nice one, Zakharov. Always giving us, hidden gems and always posting on our Instagram. So really, really appreciate that. So thank you, Zakharov. Second shout out goes to another social media personality, someone called Ciel Noir Trois. Ciel
Great
Noir
page.
3.
Yeah.
Great page. Go check out her page. Doing some really, 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 really great stuff on Instagram. Really, really good person as well. Always posting and mentioning us on her page as well. So thank you very much for that, Ciel Noir Trois. Last shout out goes to Tia underscore Becker. So she is another personality on social media who's always talking about fitness and also crypto. She
Yes.
mentioned on her crypto a coin called ApeCoin. I think a long time ago that wasn't really worth much. Now that coin is worth a lot of
It's
money.
apes,
So
basically.
it
Yeah.
has apes. Yes, a lot of people have made money with ApeCoin. Are you interested in crypto? If you are, go check out her page and go get some more information on that. So yeah, those are today's shout outs.
Brilliant. Remember, and folks, remember, listen, if you want to be a shout out on the show, get in touch with us. Let us know what you're watching, what TV shows that you like, what you don't like, and we can speak about it on the show. All right, let's get into movie news. And Deval, let's just quickly mention this. So, the Batman, huge
Yeah.
hit for DC, and kind of like reboots the whole kind of Batman franchise. And because there was a misstep. That's I'm not saying that Ben Affleck was a shit Batman, because I actually think he was pretty decent.
Mm.
When I watched Dawn of Justice, I was like, the first time around, I was like a bit skeptical, but then the second time around, I was like, actually, you know what? We got to give him a bit more. But then he cancelled.
Yeah.
He was like, listen, no, I don't want it. He didn't want to do the job. And then obviously now we know Batman. Fast forward, the Batman 2 has officially been announced. So as part of CinemaCon, which is basically happening, or it's just happened, they've announced that the Batman Part 2 is definitely going to be happening. And it kind of makes sense because Batman's earned over $750 million at the worldwide box office.
That's
So
decent.
it's kicked ass, man.
Very decent.
During pandemic.
Exactly. And I'm not surprised it's going to get a second film. Robert Pattinson done really well. Also, director was Matt Reeves, wasn't it? Matt
Yeah,
Reeves?
Matt Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Reeves, director, done really well on that film as well. It's a long film, but the film was very different to other
Mm,
Batman films. Very dark, sinister. The Riddler was a good character. And we
yeah,
were also introduced to the possibility of the Joker turning
yeah,
up in the second film. So let's see if that happens straight away or if they save him for another
yeah,
day. But
yeah.
either way, yeah, I'm happy to hear about it for sure.
What don't you want them to do with a second Batman movie? Like a villain or a character that they shouldn't like?
Mm.
Like they shouldn't bring in Joker or they shouldn't bring in Bane or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think they should bring in a character that's been. I mean, the Joker is a really difficult character to
Mm.
do well. And
Yeah,
obviously we've got the second Joker from Joaquin Phoenix still to come
yeah,
as well, I believe. So, I don't know. The Joker, is Barry Keoghan, I think his surname is.
yeah,
He's one that was in Immortals, Irish actor, really good actor,
yeah.
up and
He's good.
coming actor as well. He's going to be the Joker. But I don't know. If they do introduce him, I don't think it should be all him. I think he should maybe make a cameo or tease him for the third film. But if he's
Yeah.
not fully developed or realized at this stage, don't force it.
Don't
I wouldn't
force it. Yeah,
force it.
exactly.
Mm.
And what they're saying is the Penguin spin-off that they're going to be showing on HBO Max, which is going
Yeah.
to be Colin Farrell, they're going to obviously, introduce that, and then that is going to be a little segue that we get into the Batman Part 2. So Penguin kind of builds up and he becomes the villain that we know.
Mm.
And then, maybe Batman has to take him out. Who knows? We'll find out. Let's move over to another universe, Devaldo, the Sony verse, by the way. And, I've just mentioned that the Batman's been confirmed. They've also now, Sony have just confirmed
Mhm.
that we're going to be getting a Venom Part 3. Now, I don't know how you feel about this because Venom Part 2, Let There Be Carnage, that movie, Devaldo, was just fucking, I was like scratching my head, man. It was like, oh
Oh
my God,
gosh.
another missed opportunity, right? So they've announced it. Venom will return for a third film. It has was announced at Sony CinemaCon, and all we got was just kind of like a bit of a logo and nothing major. We don't know storyline or plot details or anything like that. But park that for a second, Valdo. Here's the other big news: the company Sony also shared another spin-off that'll be in production, and this is El Muerto, a wrestler who teams up with Spider-Man, and the actor that they're going for on this is a musician called Bad Bunny. Um, so so listen. So let's just get this right. So we know that obviously they're going to be bringing out some Spider-Man movie later on. So they've just released Morbius. There's going to be a Venom Part 3, Madam Web we've spoken about on last week's episode.
Yep.
Craven the Hunter is going to be
Yep.
coming out. They're going to bring in this El Muerto, who is this kind of I don't know if he's like a hero or anti-hero or whatever, and he teams up with Spider-Man or whatever. So clearly they're expanding their universe, right? Sinister Six, maybe they're doing,
Yeah.
but I don't know what you're making of this, man. Like, how much more Venom can we take?
I think we've had not just too much venom, but the wrong type of venom. We need an anti-venom right now to actually make us feel better. I think this is a bad idea. The first
Yeah,
Venom, I didn't think was all that, but some people liked it. Box
yeah,
office liked it.
yeah.
800 mil. So the investors liked it. Second
Mm.
Venom was even worse. Box office wasn't as good, but still they want to make a third one. I think Sony know that making films like these make money. I don't think they
Yeah.
really care about the reputation of these films and how well they
No.
are. It's all about making money, and for me, that's the wrong way to do it. I'm not for it. No more Venom for
Uh,
me. It's enough.
exactly. It's that thing, like when what people do when they just throw shit at the wall and they just see if
Yeah,
it sticks or not.
yeah,
It's like seriously, that's what they're doing. They mess up
yeah.
these characters. So Sony, if you're listening, and I know that you are listening, Amy Pascal, just don't do it.
Mm.
But listen, let's move over to Marvel, Devaldo. Now check this out. So John Watts, director of this great Spider-Man franchise. We just saw the culmination of that in December. And he was interviewed, well, not even interviewed, he just came out and he's turned around and he said that he's not going to be directing
What?
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
He's not going to be doing the Fantastic Four movie because, check this out, in a joint statement, um, he's turned around and he said, look, Kevin Feige turned around and said, we were looking forward to continuing our work with John to bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU, but understand and are supportive of his reasons for stepping away. And Feige then said, we are optimistic that we will have the opportunity to work again at some point down the road. And basically, John Watts has turned around and said that he needs to step away because he's tired.
mm.
He's made 3
Yeah,
Spider-Man movies in 5 years. That's a lot, man.
yeah. I get it. I do get it, and I can't. You can't knock a man for, realizing that he needs to look after
Yeah.
himself. Obviously people's
Yep.
health is important. It's a bit disappointing because obviously I was really enthusiastic about the fact he was going to be doing the film,
Totally.
because in my opinion, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, that's one of the best trilogies if you look at them in that isolation.
Yeah.
So I hope he has, I hope maybe he can get the rest he needs and they can wait for him, maybe. Or
Yeah.
maybe he can
Maybe.
work on the film in another capacity, in that the film doesn't lose, Fantastic Four doesn't lose that quality that it should have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great that because we don't want them to be burnt out, because usually what happens with the directors when they're overworked and
Mm.
they're just like, I don't know, they're not going to maybe have their full kind of heart into it. So it's good that you're taking a step away. But in your opinion, Devado, who do you think could take up the mantle then for Fantastic Four? Because listen, this
Oh,
movie, it has to be good, because we've seen obviously Fantastic Four movies before and they haven't been that
mm.
great, especially the last one. So who would be your take? Like, who would you trust?
Oh my gosh.
It's hard. I know it's a hard
This,
one,
this
man.
this
It's a
might
hard
sound
one.
funny. This might sound funny, but if Joss Whedon didn't have the reputation that he has
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this moment, he would have been a good person, because he's good at handling ensembles and
yep,
stuff like that. But at this moment in time, I don't know. I wouldn't say Taika. I wouldn't say James Gunn, because
yeah,
I think they've done their bit. James Gunn, I'm not even sure if he'd want to do it actually. You got
absolutely,
to
yeah,
think of who's going to be able to handle an ensemble, a really well loved ensemble team.
yeah.
And you know what? I can't think of a name that jumps
Mm,
out to me at this moment in time. It could be someone new, perhaps, but then do you want to give Fantastic Four to someone new?
yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't know,
absolutely.
man. I don't
This is
know.
this is a bit left field. I'm
Oh,
just going to
hold
put
on,
this
hold
out
on, hold
there.
on, hold on. No, I do know. I do know who can do it.
Who?
I
Who?
know exactly who can do it. The
Who?
Russo brothers, obviously.
Oh,
If
there
they'll
you
come
go.
back and do it, if they will come back and do it, yeah, they could do it. Literally,
And
yeah.
and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because the rumor there is that they do want to come back at some point to do Civil
Ah,
War, to do Secret Wars.
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
yeah.
whether or not they would kind of do that and do Secret Wars and stuff,
Mm,
because um, we're getting into this territory where we've got the TV shows
mm,
with what's his name, Samuel L. Jackson. It's going to set up
yeah.
this whole Krull and
Mm,
the kind of Kree war going on. Who knows? But listen, I'm going to put my 2 cents into the hat. I recently watched and reviewed on the show Everything Everywhere All at Once. The
oh,
Daniels.
still need to see it. Ah,
Mate, I'm telling you, so not Sony, Marvel. If you're listening, Kevin Feige, give it to those guys, because I reckon
oh, mate.
they would be really good at it.
Say no more. Put it on
Seriously,
Twitter. Put it on Twitter. Yeah.
I'm gonna put
Put
it
it
out
out
there.
there. Copy them in, or that the people say tag them in. Sorry, copy them in. I'm
Yeah,
thinking email. Tag them in.
tag them
Kevin
in.
Feige and tag in the directors. You could be responsible for something great happening. You.
Hashtag the Daniels for
There
Fantastic
you
Four.
go. Yes.
All right. So listen, it's out there, folks, and if you're going to join me on this, put this out there as well. But listen,
Mm.
I just want to quickly mention this as well. Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Marvels, they're actually swapping their release dates around. And the reason
Oh,
being is because Ant-Man is a bit further ahead along the production, like, whatever. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is going to fly into theaters on February the 17th, 2023.
okay.
And
First. Okay.
the Marvels is going to be hitting us next year, July 28th.
Okay. I'm in no rush for the Marvels. I don't have high expectations
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Kang. Okay, bring it. Bring it.
Kang. I'm
Bring it.
all up for Kang. And
Bring it.
Val, hopefully you're up for Avatar part 2, 3, 4,
Ah,
5, and 6, whatever. Because check this out. So the Avatar, the title of the new Avatar movie has been revealed, and check this out. It's called Avatar 2: The Way of Water.
oh my, isn't that like a Bruce Lee thing? Be like water.
Yes, yes, you said it. Absolutely.
Someone in the film's gonna go like this, innit? And the
Wow.
water's gonna.
Swoosh and like whatever. But listen,
Oh my
so listen, here we
gosh.
go. So folks, this is
Uh,
Avatar 2: The Way of the Water. and it was released on CinemaCon. So they spoke about it in Las Vegas just a couple of days ago. Remember, this is going to be releasing December the 16th.
Okay.
Stars Zoe Saldana, Sam Worthington, Sigourney Weaver, Kate Winslet, Vin Diesel, and this new actress,
Vin Diesel,
Vin
and maybe.
Diesel's in it as well.
Okay.
Trinity Bliss. I don't know who Trinity Bliss is.
Trinity. Oh, I'm sure Trinity does bring bliss.
Let's hope. Let's hope. So
Okay.
listen, fans of Avatar, yeah. So hopefully you're excited about that. But let's move on to some TV
Mm.
news a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So we know that Walking Dead is going through its basically final stages, Devaldo. I still got to catch up on the latest episodes, but check this out.
Me too.
AMC they announced that there was going to be a spin-off with Daryl and Carol. Is it
Yep.
Daryl and Carol? Melissa McBride.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were going to have kind of like a spin-off, and the show was going to be working towards that, but it's just been announced, breaking news basically. Melissa McBride, she's dropped out of the spin-off because she doesn't want to spend, she doesn't want to, they were going to be filming in Europe, and she
Mm.
couldn't commit to spending months and months and months in Europe,
Mm.
which is totally, which, I get, totally fine. So she's
Mm.
dropped out of it. But then there's been a backlash online, and people are saying shit about Norman Reedus, and I don't know, he's been dragged into it, and then Negan, he had to get involved, and he's turned around and he's told people to calm the f down. Norman Reedus hasn't got anything to do with it. It's just a decision that Melissa McBride had to make. So I don't know, man. How do you feel with the whole Walking Dead shit?
It needs to die. Yeah, it needs to stop walking, stand still, lay down, and die. That's what the Walking Dead needs to do. It's just been going on for too long. They want to spin off here, spin off there. The
Trust
best
me,
of it,
man.
I heard actually. Funny thing is, I've not caught up for about a year, but I
I
did
know.
hear that recently there was an episode where people are saying the Walking Dead is back.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, people have said recently things have happened that mean The Walking Dead is back. But I don't know, it's on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna have to catch up at some point. I just haven't been in a
Yeah.
rush.
I know, man. I know what you mean. It's exactly. So the second part to the final season, I think
Ah,
that just aired reason. They're splitting it in three parts. So we still got to wait for the third part, man.
who does that? I mean, even with Snickers, it gets split into two parts. Yeah, who's got time to split into three parts? I mean, who
Three
does
parts.
that?
It's like,
Ah,
oh man, it's crazy. So part one, part two, they're out
ah.
there, and we're still waiting for part three. So we'll see what happens. And the big tease there is the reason why they're doing this, I think, is because they're teasing the return of,
Oh no, what's his name? The English guy. What's his name again?
yeah,
Uh,
Rick.
Rick Grimes.
And then that is then going to lead off into the movie. So they kind of,
Okay.
he's going to appear in the last two episodes, and you know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, go check it out if you're fans of The Walking Dead. Then yeah,
Mm,
we can talk about it on Instagram. All right, let's move on to new on streaming,
mm.
Devaldo. Let's speak about the latest episode. This is episode number 4, right? And which I have caught up on, by the way.
Yes. So episode 5 came out, I think, wasn't
Sorry,
it?
episode 5.
Yeah, episode
Yes.
5, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
this one. Have you caught up now? Have you? Did you say?
I'm up to date with everything. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So this one again is in the asylum. This one is a bit
yeah.
weird. This episode, they delve into. I don't know if I could call it another dimension or another state of
Mm.
being, because this one does go into a lot more of the Egyptian, like
Like the
afterlife and the
underworld
Egypt
and
underworld and Egyptian gods, and the it's actually this actually seems a bit similar to the Greek gods. And you see, like when the Greek afterlife, where maybe perhaps depending on your judgment, you'll either go to
yes,
Hades, or you go to heaven. With this one, it looks similar. They were traveling on some sort of boat, which is a
yeah,
symbol of perhaps the resting place of the dead. And
yeah,
depending on how you're judged, you'll either go in the sand and stay there for an eternity, or you're going to like a nice resting place to kind
yeah,
of resemble the river Styx,
yep.
where in the Greek mythology they put coins on your eyes to pay the ferryman. Otherwise,
Ah,
that's what the coins on the eyes are. Yeah, because when you die, when you go to the afterlife, the ferryman sees your body and he's like, "Oh, have you got any money? Okay." take your money, and then they'll
and
take your body
now you
across.
pass.
If you got no money, you stay in limbo. That's where souls stay in limbo. That's why you
Make
see a lot
sure.
of even in Game of Thrones, they did it on their
Yes, they
eyes
did it in Game of
because.
Thrones.
But yeah,
Oh,
this episode was
if you
very
can't.
much adhering to Greek mythology and afterlife, which is where Mark Spector is at the moment because he was shot at the end of episode 3,
Yeah,
I think. And yeah, so right now, or episode 4, sorry, and right now he's kind of like dipping in between of reality and death, and we're not really sure where he is. He's speaking with different gods and different people.
yeah,
He's bouncing between Mark Spector and Steve, and we're
yeah.
now understanding a bit more about his past,
His
his
childhood.
his childhood, the trauma, the
Mm,
reason why he then developed this Steve persona,
yeah,
and where his mind was fractured to develop another personality as a coping mechanism,
yeah.
and then that really started him on the journey of being Mark Spector, that gun for hire, and his family life. He was blamed for the death of his
For
brother,
his
and
younger brother. Yeah.
yeah, it was just a mess. So this really lets us understand why he is how he is. So good episode. Go watch it. Disney Plus. Last episode is coming in a couple of days' time. By the time you hear
Yeah.
this, and then we'll obviously go to Doctor Strange. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, keep it locked with that one, and yeah, let us know what you think. Has it lived up to expectations?
Mm,
Yeah, it was a decent episode. There was a lot of stuff going in on there, so you got to basically take your time with that one. Go
yeah,
watch it. It's like about an hour long, that one. So
yeah,
go check it out. Now, the other thing that's new on streaming, we've got to speak about this. Deval and I, huge fans of this show. It's called Ozark, and we knew the end was coming. The
yeah.
first part that kind of happened a couple of months ago, which was great, cracking first part. This is the final part of the final season,
Mm.
and I think we've watched like about 3 or 4 episodes. And Deval, it's one of these shows where it's just gripping, right? You
Oh,
think that you're only going to watch one episode, and then before you know it, you binge watched like 5, 6, and it's just like so
episodes are
deep.
chunky as well. They're 1 hour. You don't get no
Mhm.
half measures here. It's not broken up
Trust
into
me.
20 minutes, 20 minutes. No,
No.
a chunky hour.
And they're so absorbing. There's so many
Yeah.
different characters, so many different moving parts, and
Mm,
there's so many layers to it. And for me, it's brilliant because whoever I speak to, I'm like, okay, you like Breaking Bad and you like kind of like these, The Wire and all these stuff, but give this show the time as well because it's just too
mm.
many layers, too many characters. It's gonna end messy, man. It's gonna end messy, I
Very,
reckon.
very more messy than a Barcelona 10 or a PSG 30. Uh, but yeah, this show, honestly, I can't say any more than you just did. But all I can
Yeah.
say is, if you haven't got into Ozark so far, it's a top show. You're talking drugs, you're talking
Oh,
cartels, you're talking police, FBI. You're talking. It's just a good on Netflix, a good show. I'll say no more.
yeah.
Just go and watch it. That's all we can
Go
say.
watch it.
Go
Seriously.
watch it.
Honestly, it's really, really good. And on trailers, so new on trailers.
Mm,
So Devout, I know this is going to be like a huge movie, right? This is kind
yeah,
of really, really big. I still,
yeah.
I didn't watch the trailer, and the
You
reason
don't
why I
have
didn't
to
watch the trailer,
actually. Yeah, don't bother. You don't have to.
yeah, because I'm like they give
Mm,
so much away in the trailer
yeah,
sometimes. So I'm like, I'm going to save it.
yeah,
I'm going to watch it when it comes out in cinema. But this is Jurassic Park Dominion, and
yeah.
just remind us again, when is this coming out?
June the 10th. So this is coming out in just over a month's time,
Yeah,
real soon. This is the third in the newer versions of the Jurassic Park franchise and movies. But this one actually does have a reunion element to it, because in this
yep,
movie we're going to have the original OG Jurassic Park, members. Sam
yeah.
Neill. You got I forgot her name, the blonde lady. I forgot her name. Is it
Laura
Linda
Dern.
or Laura Dern? Sorry, yeah, Laura Dern. We got Nature Finds a Way. You got what's his name? Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah,
I haven't seen yet if the two
I
kids from
wonder.
Jurassic Park are in it.
Yeah,
Turn off the light, all that kind of with the jelly with the Velociraptors there. Yeah, so I don't know if those kids
yeah,
are going to be in it, but if they are, that would be the cherry on the cake. But yeah,
yeah.
Chris Pratt's in there, Dallas Bryce Howard's in there. Got a few new characters. We've got DB Wong, the guy that
Mm.
actually there's the
He's
scientist
the
that was
scientist.
Yeah, so this looks like a madness, and this one is called Dominion because it's a battle for dominion of Earth.
Ah,
The
okay.
dinosaurs are on Earth. You see dinosaurs in Rome. You see them in the city. Like
It's
literally,
mad.
dinosaurs are mashing up the place.
Seriously,
You got
they're gonna.
velociraptors
It's
in
mad.
this
It's gonna
film.
be a
Well, I,
madness.
well, I could, you know, you see in the first one, Chris Pratt kept doing that to the
Yeah,
velociraptor, who's like,
yeah.
and he's talking to him. He's like, blue, blue.
And
This
he's got
one,
this clicker thing or something, wasn't he,
yeah,
or
in this
something?
one, he's doing the same thing. I saw there's a scene where there's two T Rexes and he's doing this.
Oh my
Like, I don't know what it
gosh!
is with this.
Don't lie.
What does this do? Like, this stops people from eating you. How? Huh? Like this. That's all he does, and they stop. Anyone else
Oh
gets
my
eaten. I don't get
gosh!
it. But anyway, yeah. Long story short, go watch it. It's gonna
You
be
know
mad.
what? It's got to come full circle, man. They've
It
got to
has
take
to.
a. They got to put them back in the park.
Hmm. You know, it's a shame because they've created them. Now they've got to kill them because they can't be out here. Huh?
Yeah,
What is a Velociraptor going to do Uber? Huh? Can you imagine Velociraptor getting an Uber? What's in there?
you know
Ram?
what? I hope they don't go. I hope they don't go down some route where, like, a meteorite, like, kills us all or
Ah,
something. No,
come
man, they
on.
can't. They can't. But here's the question: B- so, is this really gonna be the end of the Jurassic universe?
That thing prints universal
Exactly.
money.
I know.
No, it
No,
prints them money. There'll be another one. Give it a 5 year break. There'll be another one.
there'll be another one, definitely.
Trust
All right,
me.
listen, go check that out, folks. Go check out the new trailer and go check out the shows. And if you do see them, let us know what you think. We would love to hear from you. Now, let's go over to Anniversary Corner.
Mm.
This one is a movie that's been pulled out of the bag from way back when. And I remember I watched this movie one time, like seriously, over 30 years ago. And it's relevant to the movie that we're going to be speaking about in the film review section. But this is 35 years ago, 1987, and this is Cry Freedom. If you haven't seen this movie, and Devout, I'm purely going on by memory over here. Denzel Washington, Kevin Kline, and that's all I remember. But it's a historical movie based on a true story about Steve Biko, if I can remember.
Yeah.
And he's a freedom fighter, like, anti-apartheid
Mhm.
protester, and he strikes up this, like, relationship with a South African. This is set in South Africa, by the way.
Kevin
And
Klein, I think the
that's it.
guy
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I
you're right. This
remember,
one
man. Powerful.
very powerful. Even the title, "Cry Freedom." This stars
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. There's a very famous scene. You can find it on YouTube where he's in the dock in court because basically he's a journalist and he's being back in those days apartheid and stuff. Just
Yeah.
for walking down the
For
street you can get
yeah, for
arrested and
being
all
the wrong
sorts.
color. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's a journalist and obviously he wants freedom. He wants equality in his country. He's in the dock and he's having to speak to the court. It's one of the most powerful speeches that you'll see in film.
Mm.
This is a very young Denzel Washington, doing his thing that he's been doing all these years.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
film is linked, like you mentioned, to the film you're going to talk about in a second, but also just to Jurassic Park that we just mentioned. This film was directed by Richard Attenborough,
Is
who,
it
yes, Richard Attenborough, who was
from
the
Jurassic?
Jurassic Park, the one who said, spared no expense, the one, you know. So yeah, this is one of those powerful films that any aspiring actor, filmmaker, film
Yeah.
lover, I would say as well, needs to watch because it's just
Yeah.
one of those films that is at the time. Now we don't really get many films that mean much.
Nah.
Films are entertaining, whatever, but they don't mean much. This was a film that was made that meant something because of what the subject matter was.
Yeah. And you know what, Devout, have you noticed, man? When was the last time we watched a film? Like, I know, like, so, you can think of something like, I can remember what another movie that comes to mind, like Hotel Rwanda, that comes
Mm,
to mind.
yeah,
Um, where these kind of, like, these real life stories which kind of
mm,
resonate, like, now.
yeah.
We're not seeing much of these movies, Devout.
No, because as a society, I think we've become socially derelict, and we don't
Mm,
really
I love that
care
expression.
as much for things that truly matter because we're in a protective state. When things
Yeah.
go crazy, whether it's cost of living, whether it's politics, whether it's wars and stuff like that, as a natural instinct, you tend to curve up and protect your surroundings and
Yep.
survive. And
Yeah.
you sometimes detach from all the things that are happening in the world. So I think Hollywood also is doing that, has done that, and probably will continue to do that, because as a society, as people, we want to be entertained, and also the big word is distracted. So I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of power in distracting people from what's really going on, and I think that's what something that social media does, and the media does in
Absolutely.
general, to control our movement and control us really. So yeah, I don't know if we're
Well,
going to get
well
many
said.
more films like
Well,
this.
yeah, well said. And listen, that does actually moves us nicely onto the one of the films that we're going to be speaking about. This is in the same vein as Cry Freedom, has a kind of like a this beating heart, which is kind of similar to that. This is a new film on Netflix. This is called Silverton Siege,
Mm.
and I knew absolutely nothing about this incident. It's based on a true, like, real life incident that happened in South Africa in 1980. And I remember on Netflix there was like this kind of pop up thing that came up where it was like, oh, new on Netflix, and this
Mm.
trailer for Silverton Siege came out. I was like, you know what? This actually looks really decent. I love the color palette of it. I love
Mm.
the kind of, the vibrancy of the whole thing. So, it came Friday night, and I was like, okay, what am I going to watch? I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. It stars great cast actually. Thabo, I want to get his name right. Thabo Rametsi. Um, you know what? I don't even think I can get the names of these.
Noholo, I think it's pronounced Noholo.
Mahalo,
Yeah.
Diamini, she's great in this. And do you
Mm.
remember this guy, Arnold Vosloo,
From The
Dval?
Mummy. Yeah.
This is the
From The
mummy.
Mummy with Brendan Fraser. As
This
soon as I saw
is
his
the
face, I was like, "That's the Mummy guy. That's the
yes.
he was a Imhotep, isn't it? I think
That is it. Imhotep.
Imhotep."
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Ah,
So just seeing him, like, and then I kind of clicked on his name and everything like that. And then I realized, shit, he had already been in Blood Diamond, like from
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
while ago as well.
He's South African. I didn't know.
He is South African.
Mm,
And like, he was playing the villain in obviously the Mummy and kind of in Blood Diamond, but here he's kind
mm,
of, he's kind of like a decent character. But listen, look, this is based on a true story. This is a incident that happened in the town of Silvertown, in South Africa, and they've changed it around a bit. From the reading that I've done, is they've changed it around. Originally it was three anti the Free Mandela campaigners. They're kind of like, basically freedom fighters. They're struggling to free Mandela, who was in
mm,
incarceration at that time. So these three people, they were planning to hijack kind of like this oil tanker, and they were going to basically create some mayhem, and in the hope of, or shedding light on this kind of this free Mandela kind of like, process that was going on at the time in South Africa. But then what happened was they get thwarted. Something is kind of not right, and there's the leader of this kind of band is like, listen, something's not right. We need to get the hell out of here. And then there's this brilliant chase scene where the police are chasing them through the streets of South Africa, through Silvertown and everything, and they end up in this bank,
mm,
and
mm,
then
mm,
it turns into a hostage situation. And
mm.
the beginning of the movie is, it's got brilliant kind of, like I said before, this kind of chase scene. It's kind of got this kind of real beating heart to it. This kind of, the color, the filming in downtown South Africa, and
Does
you
it
just
remind
don't
you a
know.
bit of where the Chris Hemsworth film?
uh
What's it called?
Absolutely. um
Extraction.
it reminded him of
In
that.
fact, it's not Hollywood. It's like a different city, different, like you don't see all white people basically.
No,
It's just a different vibe basically. Is it kind of like that?
absolutely like that. And
Mm.
this is where like AK-47s are popping off on the street,
Is
and it's
it?
like, yeah, man, it's really, really good. Kind of like, shit, I wasn't expecting this type of thing. So they get into this bank, and the guy, the leader, he's such a cool guy, really really powerful performance from him. And he's like goes into the bank, he takes his time, he calms down, he takes a few breaths, and then he's like, he just rocks up onto the front, shoots in the air, and he's like, listen, look, this is not a bank robbery, this is something completely different. And then from that point onwards is when basically the whole movie starts. So this is kind of like siege going on. Arnold Vosloo's character, he plays kind of, the captain in charge, and he is the negotiator. And then there's all this internal stuff going on between the kind of the freedom fighters and with the captain outside, and kind of all these different moving parts. And I found the movie really interesting. Some bits, they fell a bit flat. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's not a perfect movie. Which movie is perfect, by the way? But I kind of just felt like as if these are the movies that we need to see. Kind of, you mentioned about obviously Cry Freedom. When do we get these types of movies? I think this is a movie, is a reminder of that shit. These things happened in the past, and we need kind of like, quick reminders of them. It's only an hour and a half, the movie. It
Oh,
moves at
okay.
it moves at a really swift pace. And there's a lot in the movie to like, and I'm glad Hollywood, like, did it. It's made by South Africa, and it's got South African actors in there,
Okay.
and it's got a look and feel of a movie that's made of that era. The soundtrack's great, the look is great, the cinematography is great, and I definitely think if you've seen Cry Freedom, then definitely you got to give this movie a go. And like I said before, you're gonna find some faults in it, but I mean, which movie is like, is without fault these days? So I think
Infinity War.
okay, all right, Jamal. You just put that out there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That feels perfect, man. Sorry.
He had to pull out Infinity War, didn't he?
You asked the
He had
question,
to
I had to
go.
answer it.
He had to go there. All right.
But no,
Barring Infinity War,
I get what you're saying though. Yeah, it's true.
Infinity War is just
Mm.
like, you can't get better than Infinity War, man. Seriously, it's just got everything in that movie. But listen, look, this movie's got action. It's got like a slice of history. It's got like, good acting in there. It's a reminder of the shit that kind of went on. For these people, they did this in a time where they go into this bank, and the bank manager's like, to the black South Africans, is like, what are you
What
doing
you
in this
doing
line?
there?
This isn't your
Get out.
line. Seriously. And there's a brilliant
Oh
bit in
my
there.
gosh.
Just this one bit that I'm going to spoil. There's an
Yeah.
American, there's an African American in the bank at the time of the siege.
Yeah.
And the bank manager, who's white South African, he's like, I don't care if you're American. He's like, I'm an American. I'm American. He goes, I don't care if you're American.
Don't
Like,
distinguish
you're
himself.
black.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Listen, you're black. You get into
Yeah.
that side over there, and it's just like a
That's what I
stark
always say to
reminder.
people. It's like no matter like what level of like black you are, because sometimes people think, okay, maybe because you got money or because you're from here or there. Like
Yeah.
the people that don't like you, they'll see us. You're all black. Doesn't matter what
There's
kind
a
of black you are.
black.
You're
Exactly. When
black.
they see this, that
Exactly.
is it.
Doesn't matter.
You could have 100
Oh my
million, like,
gosh. Yeah.
in the bank,
Yeah.
but you're still going to be the wrong
Yeah.
color. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So listen, I reckon it's decent. You should watch it, and if you do watch it, let us know,
Mm,
how it goes and what you think about it. So that's the movie of the week that we're going to
cool.
see about
Nice one.
now.
On Netflix, yeah.
This is on Netflix, so you can go check it out.
Cool.
Now, listen, I want to quickly speak. I want to devote a good like 3 or 4 minutes to this next movie.
Mm.
This is a hidden gem.
Yes, do you know what? This is on my list to watch. This was on
Please,
my list from Rakuten. I was meant to watch it, didn't get a chance, and now it's on Netflix. I need to see this film.
please watch it.
I need to
Divaldo,
see it.
take the time to watch this movie because, like you, I read about it, heard about it, people were talking about it. It got nominated at the BAFTAs,
Mm,
for writing, directing, picture, all this sort of stuff. It stars Stephen Graham, British actor.
mm.
He's actually a guy from
Gangster.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah, really
gangster.
good.
Yeah.
Deval, what is he? He's been in
Lock, Stock, I think, called Snatch. He was in
yeah,
Snatch
he
with
was in Snatch.
yeah, Brad
He
Pitt
was
and
in
stuff.
Snatch.
Yeah.
He's done loads
Lot
of.
of
He was in.
Venom recently. Venom 2 he was in as well. He's
That
been
was it.
Literally
He's
everything.
really
Yeah.
good at accents. He does a really good New York accent and stuff. He was in
Okay.
The Irishman. He was in that,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
he's been around. He's done some really good kind of like movies. So he's the star of the movie. He plays a chef called Andy, and this is Andy's worst day. And the movie is, by the way, the movie is shot in one take. Just want to
That's
put
what I
that out
heard.
there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to watch it. Shot in one take. I mean, what? That's mad.
It's
That's
shot in
mad.
one take, and that just adds to the disorientation of what you're about to witness. It's a short movie.
Mm,
It's an hour and a half, so it just basically flies by, and it all rests on basically Stephen Graham, and the supporting cast are brilliant as well,
mm,
by the way. So don't even like kind of think about that. But basically, Andy, we follow him. He's on the phone. He's like, listen, as soon as the movie starts, his stress, his worries, his strife just start beginning. So people are late to work, people aren't doing the right thing, and they've got a food inspection going on at the same time, and it was a 5-star restaurant which has then now just been downgraded to a 3-star restaurant. So he's stressed about that.
mm.
There's not enough food. The restaurant's been overbooked. The restaurant manager, she doesn't know what she's doing. Staff are turning up late. Staff are basically going off on fag breaks and like smoking and buying drugs and doing all this sort of stuff. Devour, there's so much stuff going on in this
I
movie.
need to watch it.
I was having a heart attack basically watching the movie as well because it's just so much tension.
I wonder what
It's
like actual chefs will make of this film, because they've
oh,
obviously got an experience of what kitchens are like. It'd
yeah.
be interesting to find out a chef's take on something like this.
I would love to find out. And
Mm,
also, I've also heard, I mean, that owning, like running a restaurant is the one of the most hardest jobs that you could ever have.
yeah.
And you watch this movie and I think you do get a kind of taste, and pardon the pun, you get a taste of, what this
Mm,
could be like. He's going through shit with the family. He's going through personal issues, and things aren't working out for him. And by the end of the movie, you're left in a place where this is dark, this is tough, this is kind of not what you were expecting, and it's kind of like this high pressure, high stakes movie, in a movie that you in a situation where you think wouldn't be, like they're cooking food, but
mm,
boy, they're stressed, man. So if you can find
mm.
this movie, go track it down, because you know what, you're going to enjoy it, you love it, and it's an hour and a half, and Stephen Graham is brilliant in it. So yeah,
Mm.
that is the actually no, it's a hidden gem, and it's actually the movie of the week.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. And it's not going to be hard to find because it's on Netflix right now. So
Yeah,
go get it.
exactly.
Go
Go
get
get
it.
it, track it down, watch those movies, and let us know what you
Mm.
think. And folks, listen, look, that's the end of the show. However, just to remind you all, we have
Ooh,
got
big one next week. Oof.
next week's going to be a really big one. So listen, we've got the multiverse of madness coming up. So by the time you listen to this show, I think maybe we've already probably would have seen
Oh my
Doctor Strange 2.
gosh. I'm going to see it 3 times for sure. I need to see it
Yes.
3 times before we record our next episode.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So listen out for that one, because that's going to be a big one. We're going to be spoiling that one. We're going to be speaking about that one. And if you've seen it, join us. And yeah, that's it. That's it for
Mm.
me, Deval.
All right, cool. Well, yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just pop in the Flixters podcast.